In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the entire step-by-step process which we use to generate our client $39,928 in just 3 days. So let's just dive straight into it. Now, the first thing that I want to note about this launch specifically is that this launch was prepared in less than a week. Right, so the same day that he signed the contract, we got to work and we started building everything up, and we were selling two main offers. So product one was 2,000 USD. It was a trading course, and there was 5 one-to-one calls plus an exclusive community for 90 days. And product number two was $3,000, and it was just access to a prop firm where he would pretty much get you a trading account between 1 and 200,000 US dollars. But I must say, we did do most of the selling on the coaching program itself. So when we just got started with him and we just started sort of analyzing his audience, we noticed one big thing. His audience was very, very dead because he wasn't really posting much content. Really on Instagram, there was no content at all. I mean, this is all content that we pushed out during the launch, but other than that, there really was nothing. But the main thing that we did notice is that he was averaging around, just 2,000 to 3,000 story views. So this was a really important part of our entire launch strategy. And other than on YouTube, it just wasn't his ICP tool. The majority of his subscribers, I mean, he has a bunch of subscribers, but most of them just came from his previous gaming career. So there really isn't much. So the first thing that we had to do with this launch specifically, really, we just had to figure out who is his audience, right? So the first step of what we do for every client that we work with is market research, and not just market research, just thinking, just Googling the niche and, just reading about it on Wikipedia or whatever. We really like to go deep on market research. So what we did is we posted a story on his Instagram telling people to book a strategy call with me and we weren't saying me and my COO, we just said client success manager, right? So me and my COO ended up getting on 9 calls of these, and we were framing them like a strategy call, like booking the call with us and we'll help you out. But in reality, we were just asking them a bunch of different questions, and all of the questions that we were asking were pretty much helping us figure these things out about his audience. And these are the things that we figure out about every single audience before we actually start working with the coach creator, or really just after we start working with them. But just figuring out exactly how are we going to script the VSL, how are we going to create the power offer reels, how are we going to create the landing page, just getting all of these details together. We need to have this crucial information right here, because we don't want to be praying, right? We don't want to be spraying and praying. We want to be exact with what we're doing. So we have to figure out what is the promise in Dreamland? What is the problem? What is the journey of the potential clients? What is the problem list? What are the desires? What's the desired situation? What is the gap? How do they actually bridge the gap? What are the unique selling proposition and unique selling proposition details? What are the reasons to believe? Why should they believe us? What are the features and benefits? What are the product deliverables? What's the high ticket offer sales argument? What are the customer verticals? What are the potential questions? And what are the objections, right? All of these things we need to really know before we start building out the landing page, before we start building out the VSL, before we really start building anything. Market research is the first step, and this is what most people don't do, and hence why they don't do a big launch. This launch could have easily been 5 or 10,000 euros had we have not implemented these exact strategies that I'm talking to you about right now. So after that, with the market research, by the way, we had to start building out a launch strategy / sort of game plan. So we mapped out the entire process of what this launch would look like, from all the way from what his Instagram would look like, what his YouTube would look like. And initially we wanted to run paid ads as well, but it just didn't make sense at the time. We had to unblock his account manager, and it didn't make enough time. We really just didn't have enough time. Now we're actually obviously, for our clients, a main thing that we do for our clients is we don't just help them hit that one month, we actually help them maintain it and actually scale from there. So now we're actually implementing ads for him, and we're just running up a few campaigns. But just for the launch specifically, we were only doing organic. So we figured out what are the exact steps we're going to take to actually generate interested leads. We pretty much came to a 3-day video event, and then how are we actually going to convert these interested leads. So we just wrote down the entire process of what that would look like right here. After that, we had to build out the entire backend infrastructure. So obviously we want to keep everything organized. We don't want it to be a complete mess, because obviously it's going to be a pain for us, it's going to be a pain for the client, and nothing's really going to be clear. So these are just the main softwares. There was a bunch of different, I believe we used around 7 to 10 softwares, but these are just the most recognizable softwares, which I just wanted to mention. So number one, we have ClickFunnels, obviously building up all of the landing pages, all that stuff. Other than that, we have Notion, which we're just keeping everything organized, all of the pages, all of the copy, all that good stuff. ConvertKit to actually send out the emails. Zapier, so that everything is, automated. And this is essentially it, right? There's a bunch of different ones. There's Calendly, there's website hosters, there's GoDaddy. I mean, there's so many, right? These are just the main ones that just, it's really just 80-20ing it, right? So this is the 20% of the softwares that pretty much just came for 80% of the outcome. And once we had this, once we actually knew exactly what we were going to build, once we knew, with what information we're going to build it, and we had all of the backend infrastructure built out, we can actually start building it out, right? So the first thing that we started doing when we were building it out was creating a setting framework, right? What's going to happen when they actually message us on Instagram? Building out the pre-call flow, writing all of the copy for the offer, scripting the launch content, creating the story sequences, setting up an email and SMS campaign, creating the VSL, sourcing an appointment setter and closer, building out the landing pages, creating sales calls, frameworks, and etc. Right? Because these are all the essential things that we need to actually get this offer up and running. And after this, once we have the offer dialed in, once we know exactly what the offer is going to be, once we have the landing pages built out, once we have all that different stuff built out, we can actually start building hype, right? So to build hype, we were building up a little bit of an email list, and I'm going to get into why in just a second. But we were using a lead magnet to actually get people into the email list, and we were giving out a 40-page lead magnet for free. And to actually do this, again, it comes back to our strategy. When we were doing market research and when we were analyzing his pages, we realized that his biggest asset is his story viewers, right? The 3,000 story views that he was getting. So we decided on running a ton of story sequences. And this is also stuff that we do for our other clients as well. We always run story sequences. I sort of specialize in story sequences, but just because they work so extremely well. And this is especially good for the case that he's in. So the first story sequence that he ran, and by the way, don't worry, I'll show you the other ones, but I cannot show this one because this is something that we've reserved this specifically for our clients. We don't want this to get oversaturated, because this was an 8-page story sequence, which ended up converting 34% of everyone who viewed the story. So I really just don't want to share this, because you can see I'm sort of gatekeeping it for our clients only. But yes, it's an insane conversion rate. That means for every 1,000 people that got onto his story, we got 340 email subscribers, and these were really active email subscribers. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to get into that in just a second. After that, the second sequence was pretty much, it was a little bit of motivation, right? So are you building your dream or someone else's? And then just giving them a little bit of a motivational talk. And then here we just had the call to action. So you can see here we had these 3 sort of clocks, just pretty much saying like the clock is ticking, start building your dream today. And then this blue button right here is just a link. Other than that, once we actually launched the initial sequence and the sequence right here, once we had the first people to email list, first people looking at the doc, we just said the amount of kind messages we got and good reviews from the 40-page doc I gave out yesterday is insane, which is why next story, I want to do something even crazier to everyone who signed up for the free resources and showed me their support. Next story, and by the way, this is going to look a little bit weird here just because we built this out in Miro, but when we're actually posting these story sequences for the clients, they're going to be done in the Instagram app, and we're going to focus a little bit more on aesthetic. What we're doing here is we're just figuring out what pictures are we going to use in the background, what are we going to write onto the story sequences, and all that other stuff. So we're really just doing the copywriting here and getting it reviewed, because obviously you can't do that on the Instagram app. You can't really save drafts. So after this, we said I just sent out everybody who signed up yesterday a 250-page doc going over XYZ. So it wasn't clear when we were just first making this, in even more detailed. And then I used to charge 1K plus for the same doc. Make sure to check spam and promotions if you don't see it in your primary inbox. And this was an important thing because we were getting most of the people outside of the spam and inbox. Just outside of the spam. And then apart from that, we had a second call to action for the people who just weren't inside of the email list already. If you haven't signed out to my email list yet and still want both docs, today is your last chance, right? So building a little bit of scarcity. and another button right here. But this is essentially just retargeting the initial people that we got not only from this sequence right here, but the people that we also got from this sequence right here, right? So we're just getting all of these people that we initially got outside of the inbox, which is extremely important. And then the last one, the last story sequence that we sort of ran, was also extremely simple. So we had a little bit of a Q&A, just looked like an average Q&A, but we were actually the ones who were typing the questions into here, right? And then here, it was just like, how do I start trading? He would talk about how do I start trading for around 5 to 10 seconds. And then he would transition into hyping up the course a little bit. And we use this to keep everybody engaged, right? And obviously all of this actually had to go to a lead magnet page. This was built on ClickFunnels, extremely simple. We have this SOP at this point. We've been A/B testing so many different lead magnet pages, and this is just the most optimized page that we can get to. Huge button, you know, the little guarantees down here, big headline, you know, looks professional, is professional, all that good stuff. So we pretty much have this SOP for our clients at this point. And the results from this were, you know, pretty simple. So we got around 1,180 total subscribers. But again, we were only really pushing this on Instagram. So we had probably around 2,500 story viewers. And, you know, that's almost 50% conversion rate of everybody who was viewing his stories to people who are actually getting onto the email list, which is pretty good. And we were converting at around 53.8% from this landing page, which is also pretty insane. Now, you may be asking yourself, why were you running emails? Well, why weren't you just doing something else? Why did you go with email specifically? Well, it's simple. There's 3 types of traffic sources that you can run. Traffic you control, traffic you don't control, and traffic you own. And the goal is to get to traffic that we own, because the new rules for Instagram are strict. And, you know, we have, you know, like Instagram can ban our accounts at any point, right? When you get into the the person's detail, you essentially control them, right? It's pretty much like an infinity money glitch, because if Instagram bans us, we could run everything for emails and we'll still hit, we'll still be doing good numbers month over month, right? So this is why we really wanted to focus on emails, and this is why we're also building something long-term for our clients, because this email list is going to be nurtured over a very long time. And the guys who don't buy on the first launch are going to buy on the second launch, and the guys who don't buy on the first and second launch are going to buy on the third launch, and so on and so forth, which is why emails are extremely important for this strategy to work. So after this, we're also built, obviously, we've built up the email list. Now we need to actually build a little bit of hype for it. So on day 1, we were just pushing the master doc to collect emails, right? On day 2, the first email with the second resource announcing a third gift came out, and the third gift was essentially just the CTA to the Calendly. And then on day 3, we were announcing the Black Friday and, just giving a little bit of early access to the email list, obviously building a little bit of scarcity and getting the first sales calls onto our calendar. Now, these emails ended up performing extremely well. This, you can see day 2, I actually got a 65% open rate, which is absolutely insane, followed with a 41% click rate. And then on day 2, we had a 60% open rate and 0% click rate, because we weren't giving, we just weren't giving a link out over here, right? But still, 59% and 64% is absolutely insane for an email list. And when we were ready to launch, we already had so much hype built up, right? Again, here in the story sequence, it's not going to look nice here on Miro, but when we were making it on the Instagram app, it looked a heck of a lot better. So here we were essentially just saying, you already know what today is. Today is Black Friday. Followed up with a little bit of description on that, just hyping it up a little bit here even more. That's the beautiful thing about trading. I get to do cool stuff like giving back to my community. And don't worry about me discounting my offer so much. I just bought a 130k Richard Mille yesterday, and then there's a picture of his Richard Mille, which he actually bought the day before that, which is, we just wanted to incorporate this. You don't need to buy a 130k Richard Mille for a launch. It was just sort of a no-brainer for us to incorporate it if you already paid the money for it. And it didn't make a huge difference, but it's gonna make a difference, which is still pretty cool. This Black Friday, I'm looking to add another 20 people into our coaching program who are motivated to work 1 to 2 hours a day, want financial freedom, and want location freedom. And how did we figure out that his audience specifically wants these things? Through the market research. It doesn't matter if you're a complete beginner, we help you with the entire process. Then we talk about the process that we're helping them with. We gave them a few results, and then I'm only opening this back up because of the amount of messages I get every day regarding this. I know that these spots will fill up really fast, so if you're interested, book a call with the link with the button down below. And then here we just had a calendar link. That's it. No fancy funnel, no fancy copywriting, no huge landing page. Just me giving back to my community for Black Friday. Just my offer, which is never going to be this available for this cheap again. And then we had another call to action after pretty much just saying this right here. The prices for my offer are never going to be this low again. I'm letting 20 people into my coaching. For all of the action takers in my audience, book a coaching call here, right? Book a call for my coaching here. And this is just recapping everything that was said in the story sequence. This is the initial CTA, and then, you know, just really simple story sequence. We didn't really have much time for this launch, so we can perfect the strategy. We only had around 4 or 5 days to actually get all of this up and running, but I still think this is a pretty good, good story sequence, and it's definitely better than what everybody else is putting out there. Right, so after this we actually had to launch the whole entire thing up, and you know, this is done on day 4, day 5, and day 6. So on day 4, the third email we sent out with a link to the sales page. On day 5, the email list with the last 5 spots available, which is essentially just building scarcity from the day ones. For the people who didn't sign up here, they're going to sign up here, and then last chance to get in, leveraging data to make people think and act, right? So the data that we got from the launch, the responses we got from the email, we're pretty much just leveraging this, and we're taking this over to day 6. And again, like, these emails performed extremely well. Like, these are really healthy open rates right here. 53%, 54.8%, and 58.6%, which is just absolutely insane. So obviously the emails did really well. I think this is we were just avoiding the words that you don't want to use in emails for them to actually get the open rates down and get marked as spam, which is just another great thing, right? And then at the end, you know, we use a really simple landing page. We had like just a few hours to get this up and running because we were on such a tight deadline. But yeah, it's a really simple landing page. We were just giving them the calendar right here. Then we were giving a few results over here. You know, you really don't need to overcomplicate it. Another calendar at the very bottom, and then an FAQ at the very bottom again, just to sort of give them the, you know, just low FAQs. And as soon as they booked, the pre-call flow would start. So we were giving them constant reminders. We were giving them a testimonial plus reminder 24 hours before the call, because obviously the more content that they watch before the call, the easier they are going to be to sell to. So content for them to consume, which is just a testimonial plus a reminder 24 hours before, 12 hours before, doing the same thing, testimonial plus reminder, 1 hour before the call, last testimonial. So don't want to go too crazy with the testimonials. Plus a reminder 5 minutes before the call, link to the call plus a reminder, and then immediately when the call starts, just a really simple link to the call, just as simple as that, right? So that was a total of 5 email reminders, and they were extremely simple, right? 3 text reminders as well. So this would just be them getting an SMS, and you know, these were pretty simple as well. Now we would always contact the leads before the call on WhatsApp to ensure that they're qualified, because obviously we don't want to be wasting our time, we don't want to be wasting the closer's time, and we want our KPIs to be as, you know, just as accurate as possible. So now we're actually able to scale the entire thing up with ads, because the thing is that all of these growth operators, growth partners, you know, guys in your DMs every single day and etc., they're just promising you one big month, and they're not even going to make you half of your potential, right? You might make 100K in the first month, which by the way, you could have made probably 200 or 300K with these guys, but you know, the next month you'll do 15, right? You're going to have a big spike. It's going to look like this, you know, maybe you're making 50K a month, and then they're going to spike you up to 100K a month, but then it's going to come crashing down because there's no systems in place. There's no KPIs that are getting tracked. There's nothing's getting tracked, and the whole offer is going to climb down. And when it comes down, when you're at this point, you know, these people, they're not just, they made you one big month, you pay them out, and they drained your entire audience, right? With this launch over here, we didn't drain the audience at all. This audience is still extremely healthy. Matter of fact, we made the audience even healthier because we told him to push out this video for the launch specifically. We told him, we scripted these videos for him so that he can actually push out these videos so that we can actually, you know, get this launch up and running, right? So since we started working with him, not only did we make his audience even healthier, but we added an extra $40,000 into his bank account, right? So that's essentially that. And that's another thing about our service. We don't just help our clients hit one big month. We help them hit these record months month after month. And we've already mapped out what we're going to do after this launch, right? We already mapped out the social media strategy that we're going to start to implement. And we've already implemented most of these things over here. And we've already mapped out the ad strategy, and we're already testing different creatives out and getting them reviewed, already getting the ads manager out. We really like to move with speed, right? So this is the important thing about our service and how we essentially help these coaches. So if you're either an established coach with an existing following who actually wants to start scaling their coaching offer, maybe you're at $10,000 a month, you want to get to $100,000 a month, maybe you're at $70,000 a month, you want to get to $250,000 a month, or you're just starting out, you're making over $10,000 with a business model that you're running and you want to start teaching it, you want to start building your personal brand, and you just need the right system, you need the right guidance and all that other stuff, then you can book a call directly with me. First link in the description. I don't work with coaches that I can't help. This isn't going to be some sort of sales call. It's genuinely going to be a demo call. If it makes sense, it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, I guarantee that I'll leave you better than you started. So if you're serious about starting or scaling your coaching business to 6, 7, or even 8 figures and just need someone to do all the heavy lifting for you, like creating the VSL, creating all of the landing pages, creating a strategy behind everything, finding a closer, finding these appointment setters, and all that other stuff, so you can actually focus on the 2 main needle moving activities of actually creating content and fulfilling for your clients so that you can get amazing results, then book a call directly with me. First link in the description.